Yesterday we talked about getting data from the database, querying the tables using GlideRecord, right? We didn't see how we can insert data into the database, right? To insert a data into the database, we'll be using GlideRecord, of course, but then we'll be using it a little bit differently. So there is a proper syntax for this one, for inserting the record into the table, that we must follow, right? See, same thing. We start with creating a variable. In this case, we are creating a rec variable of GlideRecord type having reference to the incident table. Then you initialize that. After initializing, you need to tell to the query what value you want to insert or update. Like in this case, we are going to insert the record and we are going to set the value short description is equal to network problem. Also, rec.callerID.setDisplayValue is equal to Joe employee. You will ask, why do we do rec.callerID.setDisplayValue? If you go to the incident form, you will see that caller ID is a lookup field, right? So lookup fields have two things. Lookup fields have these display fields and value fields, right? In this case, we are going to set the display value for the lookup field, which is caller ID in this case, right? So this record that we are going to insert is going to be updated for two columns, and the third one, the number field, will automatically be populated because this is a auto number field that we have in the incident table. So when we insert this record, a new record will be created into the incident table having these three details. The rest of the details on the form will be default one, which comes as a default. Okay, so let's try to do that. I'll change this name just in case I have this name inserted in there. I'll change this name to, let's say, and let's try to insert it. It looks like it was inserted. Let's go ahead into the incident table and verify. I'll go to the most updated record. And open it. See, this is what we inserted. In the short description, we wrote network problem, and the caller ID value should be this. And the short description is this, but in my database, I do not have this value available, right? So this could be one of the reasons why this is not getting displayed here. So I'll go ahead and pick one value which is available in the table and then go ahead and insert it. In the meantime, we can also consider using mobile_phone field to insert values. For mobile field, I'll go and do mobile phone. And I'll do like this. Let's go ahead and insert it. Let's go back in the incident form. Check on the record. It inserted the record. I see this record created. but then other fields are not getting populated. So it looks like there is something, some validation on these fields or something. I'll get back to it and see why it is not getting inserted. But see, a new record was created. The incident ID INC0041 was created. We were able to update the short description, which is network problem 123. It looks like there is some script written, like this script is populating this information as well. So we'll have to see what message, what script is there, which is prohibiting from getting all the fields updated when we insert the query into the database, right? But technically, this is how you do insert operation, right? Pick the correct table using GlideRecord. The incident table is here, and then you have to do initialize. This initializes the process of inserting the record into the table, and then provide the values for those columns where you want the data to be inserted, and then to perform rec.insert, which is the GlideRecord.insert. So that's how you do that, right? With that, I'd like to discuss one more thing. I'm sure some of you must be aware about database triggers, right? So the question could be, do we have something like database trigger in ServiceNow, right? So database trigger, what it does is when you insert or delete or update something into a table, right? On a specified event like insert, update, delete, these triggers are database objects that automatically kick out and do certain operations, right? Maybe if you are updating one table, before updating that table, a record into another related table must be updated. So event is known as a database trigger, right? ServiceNow also provides you a functionality to have something like database triggers in in, in your instance, right? And that database trigger in your case will be business rules, right? Business rules are objects that will let you perform some event-based insertion, deletion, or some event-based activity when you insert, update, or delete records from the table, right? Now, theoretically, when we run database triggers, the database triggers could be a before trigger or after trigger, meaning the trigger has to kick before inserting, updating, or deleting the record from the table, or there could be a different case where the trigger has to kick out after the database insertion, updation, or deletion is performed, right? There are several other types also. Let's go ahead and quickly see that. Business rules can be found by going into the application navigator and looking into system definition and business rules. When you go into business rules, it will present to you a list of records which contains all of the existing business rules. Plus, as an admin, you can also see this new button where you can go ahead and create new business rules, right? If we talk about roles related to business rules, let's go and see what roles related to business rules are there. Person having business underscore rule underscore admin can administer business rules. If you do not have this role, you will not be able to do that. Okay? Going back to business rule, let's go ahead and see business rule interface. So this form takes all the inputs for creating a business rule. The first one, of course, is the name of the business rule. Then you have to associate the table on which the business rule will run or the event will be fired. You have active. You have to keep it active to make it effective and working. Let's go and see the definition here. According to ServiceNow, a business rule is a server-side script that runs when a record is displayed, inserted, deleted, or when a table is queried. Use business rules to automatically change values in form fields when the specified conditions are met. This is what I call trigger or event, right? So if you have to change certain values automatically based upon some insert, deletes or updates or query on a table, use business rule to do that. Okay. Now, like we had for all other components where we specify when to run business rules, you have this when to run tab here, where you need to specify whether the business rule should run on insert or update. These are the two checkboxes available. If these are quite obvious that this business rule will run on inserts or updates, etc. Right? So pick these two checkboxes according to your need. Right? So even if you have chosen insert and update, ServiceNow has given you additional functionality to apply filters on that. For that, let's pick a table first. If we have filter there, and if we are trying to create a condition like if priority is greater than 1 and the operation is insert or update, or let's say insert only, then only this trigger will run, right? So you gave this business rule a condition to run. First of all, you associated a table to the business rule, which is incident table in this case. The scope of the business rule is obviously here in this current application, which is global. You made it active. This business rule has to run on the insert operation of the table, and the condition is if the priority is greater than 1. Right? If it is 1, it will not run. But if it is 2, 3, 4, 5, this business rule will kick out. Right? Then you have certain role conditions. You can specify this will only run if people have this role or this role or this role. I'm not going to do that right now. Doing this advanced checkbox, if you tick this on, within the when to run section, you will see another options available. One starts with when, and it has 4 options available: the before trigger, the after trigger, the display trigger, and the async trigger. Right? We will go by each one of these one by one. For that, I'd like to move to my other instance where I have some sample business rules written. Let me know if you have questions. See, the marketing event application that we talked about, I have one business rule related to that marketing event application. Let's go ahead and see what that business rule does for us. Sorry. See, this is applicable on the marketing attendee table, right? So we have the list of attendees here in the marketing application. So just a simple form, a table associated to the form where we get the list of people attending the marketing event. It has first name, last name, email, marketing event, reference to marketing events table, and then you have the phone number field available here, right? So this business rule is applicable on attendee table, right? Now, this is the after business rule, meaning after the record is inserted into the attendee table, this business rule will run and do what it is supposed to do. The script which is written behind it will be executed, right? Let's go and see what the script is. In this script, what we are doing is, see, so this is a simple script structure that we have, right? When you create this one, when you create a business rule here, it will automatically populate a signature for your business rule. For example, if I go here, do incident, make it advanced, make it after, I go to advanced. See, it automatically populates your signature for the business rule here, the business rule step. Now, current and previous objects are available here, which you can refer to, meaning the, the current object holds the current record into the context. For example, if you are going to insert something into the database, and like we inserted that record here, see, we were going to insert this record into the table. Let's assume that we are going to do this insertion and we created a business rule on this table, incident table, right? So this record that is going to be inserted is there available in this current record, right? Current object. So you can use the current and previous objects to refer to whatever object, whatever record that you're going to insert there. Okay. Now let's go back to our attendee business rule and let's see what we are doing here. See, this function will automatically be called when the rule is processed. Replace the table name with your instance table name. So if you have to use it on your own table name, then you will replace the table name and do what operation you want to do there. So in this case, we are referring to the marketing event table. See, when we inserted record into the attendee table, which is marketing attendee table, this one, at the same time, after the insertion is done, we want to insert something or update something into the marketing event table, right? So I am doing gr.get, so this will get me the current record from the marketing event table. So I am doing current.marketing event, and marketing event is a field into this table, right? I'm sorry. The current object is on the attendee table. So the marketing event name from the current record of the attendee table is getting fetched here, and then you are putting a if condition where you are doing gr, which is in this case a reference to your marketing event table, dot number of attendees registered. You are checking here that if the number of attendees registered is undefined, right, then you are going to make gr dot number of attendees registered is equal to 1. If it is not undefined, so you are just incrementing the number of attendees to, +1. That's it, right? So this is a very simple business rule that we have written here. So whenever you add one record into the attendee table, right, it will go ahead and update that marketing event record and make the number of attendees +1, so that in the marketing events table you have the appropriate number of attendees available. Let's go ahead and see that example here. I'll go to the list of attendees. So I have 3 attendees here right now. I'll go to marketing events. See, the number of attendees expected is 10. Number of attendees registered is 30. Right? We're referring to New Delhi marketing event. Number of attendees registered is now 31. It updated it automatically. Initially it was 30, now it changed to 31. It changed to 32. See? So doing a change in one table, the change is propagated to the other table using the business rule, right? So this business rule is taking care of your insertion of records into the current attendee table and accordingly updating the table into table which you are referring. Let's go back to the business rule one more time. Right? Let's see one by one what this is. I'll get rid of these comments so the code is clear for understanding. So here, make a reference marketing table. You get the current record from the attendee table. Right? Here you are incrementing the value. And finally, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Do you have questions, confusion? Okay. Others? Sam, Shweta, Vikrant, or Hailey?
I got it. I got it.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
I am following. It's good so far.
Yeah. Sure. This is one simple example of business rule. There could be various things that you'll be doing using business rules. For example, let's twist it a little bit. Let's assume that when you insert a record into the attendee table, you have to update the marketing events table, right? But then you just do not have to increment the number of attendees registered, but you have to fetch out some values from some third-party system, right? Let's assume that you have to refer to some web services and pull out data from a third-party system, and then using that data, you have to update any of your tables here. Is that doable? Yes, of course. We'll be talking about these in greater details when we talk about web services, but the idea is, see, ServiceNow gives you a whole bunch of integration components. You can integrate with third-party components using several things available, right? One of these is the web services, right? ServiceNow takes care of the SOAP message web services or REST message web services. You can get endpoints from third-party system, and then you can include that third-party endpoints within your system and use that endpoint to bring data from the third-party system into your environment. You could go ahead and very well use that web service or endpoint within your business rule to insert, update, or delete records within your own ServiceNow tables, right? So this will be one type of integration that will be performing where you get data from outside system using a web service and updating your own table. Let's take example of a weather application. Let's assume that you have some APIs available, publicly available APIs in the market that, for example, Yahoo Weather. If you have endpoints from Yahoo Weather, you can go ahead and create one application here in ServiceNow, which is weather application, right? You design the form, create the table, and then you use the endpoint from Yahoo Weather and create a SOAP or REST message endpoint here, web service here, whatever is the format from the Yahoo Weather endpoint. You create a web service accordingly here, and then use that web service to populate data on the form that you have. Does that sound like a valid business case? So,
Yeah, but are we? I know you can get to Yahoo, so you can create one. Um, so you are picking up from, let's say you're getting web services from Yahoo, then you have to create an application so that you'll be able to receive the data and then insert them into the tables or what?
see, you can do, so it depends how you decide to design your application. If you decide to update your database to get data from the Yahoo Weather endpoint, you can do that as well. But in this case, in case of a weather application, it doesn't make sense to have your weather data updated into the database unless you have to do some processing on the data that you fetch out from Yahoo Weather endpoint, because weather data gets
Mm.
stale every now and then. So in this case, I'll suggest to just make a event-based trigger whenever you need data for weather data for a particular place. You make a call to the Yahoo Weather endpoint, get the data and display on the screen. Do not insert into the database, right? But if it is a different application, let's assume that you are getting an endpoint from NASDAQ or something, where you are getting quotes for different enterprises, different companies. So you supply the stock quote to that endpoint, and you get in return the value of the stock price, right? So in this case, if you create an application that takes care of, the stock prices of different enterprises, organizations, so you may like to store that data into the database. So you can create your application in such a way that you are using the endpoint from the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. You are fetching the data from for different companies, different stock codes, and then you are inserting that data into your own database as well to make a repository or something, right? And then you can use that data on the form as well. So it totally depends on how you want to design your system, what your data requirements are. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll come back to that. Right now, we are keeping it simple so we can digest it, we can understand what is going on. Okay, so that's business rule. So with that business rule, see, I'm referring to this current object. So if in the current object in the business rule, you are able to access variables from the current record, so use this current object. Previous object, if you are using previous object, so you can use this previous object to get records from the one record before the current record, right? So that's the previous record. It keeps a counter of the current and previous records as well. So you can use these two objects on the business rule as and when required. Okay. Now let's go ahead and see some more scripts, some sample ones. I think we already saw this add info message uh, from the GS class. GS is glide system. So glide system is like the common repository of common functions. It is a repository of common functions available in ServiceNow. So most of the common operations that you do within ServiceNow environment, those functions or methods will be already created in the glide system class, right? You must know what's there in the glide system class in order to access and use those features available, right? See, when you go to the wiki page and you go to glide system, it will list out all of the methods available within the glide system class, right? For example, the first one that we use is gs.add_info_message. And if you remember, when we were doing the client script, and let's go to the marketing event form, and I'm going to the marketing event, and if I go here on the client script, let's create a quick client script here. I'll name it show message. Let's put table as scoping issue. So I'm onto the marketing events. I'll put the show message, and I'll do a onload client script, and where I'll go ahead and put gs dot add info message, and I'll put this message info message, something like this. Let's save it. Or it says GS cannot be used in client script because this is a server-side component. So maybe we can use gform dot add info message in this case. Right. Let's save it. So client script within client script. I'm sorry. So within client script, we just saw a message, a warning message, error message that we cannot use that. So that so this is a method that I am using right now, but I use gform. Now with that we came to a very good point. And the point is client-side script versus server-side script. I'm sure some of you are already aware about client-side scripts and server-side scripts and what it does. But let's talk about this a couple of, let's talk about that quickly. Client-side scripts are those scripts that will be run on the client side, like on the form itself, right? So the objects that is available on the client side on the user's terminal, and you do not have to do a network lookup, a network hop that does not run on the server end, right? So that's those kind of scripts will be available under client side scripting, right? But the server side scripts are those scripts that that are run on the server end, meaning on the ServiceNow end, right? And then they'll access the server side resources, right? So we have a listing of what scripts are client side, what scripts are server side. Like in this case, the GlideRecord that we use, the GlideRecord is referencing the incident table or marketing event table which lies on the server side, which lies on the database of ServiceNow. So that's a server side script. But there are some exceptions. Some of these functions from the GlideRecord are also available on client side. So GlideRecord is a type of a script which is available on server side as well as client side, right? You may ask me what is the best place of reference where you can go ahead and see what types of scripts are client-side scripts and what type of scripts are server-side scripts. So to answer that question, I'll take you to the developer.servicenow.com where they have a very good documentation on types of scripts, and it states what type of a script is, what a script is what type of. So if we log in into the developer.servicenow.com and I go to API and I hit server, it's being testy right now. Yeah, open up. Now, since I opened server, the list of all server-side scripts will be available with me, right? So these are classes that you can use just like GlideRecord. And see, we should have GlideRecord somewhere here. Here we go. We have the GlideRecord here, right? And this is server side. And see the methods available. Add encoded query, add join query, add not null query, add none query, can create, can delete, etc. Now let's go back to the client side. I'll go ahead and pick client side, right? On the client side, I only have Glide Ajax, Glide Dialog Window, Glide Form, Glide List, Glide Menu, Glide Record. See, Glide Record is here. And then we have Glide User. Within Glide Record, I have different methods, right? The same Glide Record, but not all the methods are available here. Meaning, only some of the methods available in Glide Record are client side, right? So if you are using this Glide Record on the client side, you will be using only these methods available. Otherwise, the system will throw error. So this way, this is a good point of reference to differentiate what is kept at server side and what is kept at client side. We'll be referring this a lot number of times when we do more scripting. Sorry, I have a bad foot today. So let's go back. So this message that we have displayed, we intended to use gs.addInfoMessage, but we were using it on the client side, so it said like, you cannot use gs functions in the client side script. So instead we use gform, and gform, as we know, as client side, and from that client side gform object we were able to use the add info message there, and we displayed the message, right? But can we do that here as well? Can we use this GS object here? Yes, of course. In the business rule, you can go ahead and put gs.addInfoMessage, and then we can put let's do this, right? This time I'm not using gform object to put a message. I just use GS object here, which is glide system. And from the glide system, I picked add info message method, right? Let's go back to the marketing event table, the event attendees table here. Let's put hey, let's put a marketing event like really and submit it. See, we got a message, but this message has been populated here or displayed here using JS class, right? We can go ahead and explore through all of the methods available in JS class, right? Let's do some more. This will give you some this beginning of last month will give you value from the last month. So let's see what it provides us. See, and this editor window that we have, this is script editor. If we make some mistake, it will it will give you errors as well. You can check the mistakes here, syntactical checks. For example, if I miss the semicolon here, and I do this, See, it shows me some error, and it says, that the values that I'm missing, or if I'm doing some error, the syntactical check will give you information of that kind, right? Let's save it. Let's go back to the attendees form. Let's submit it. See, we got the error message printed, we got the info message printed, but within that info message we are getting this value is coming from the GS dot beginning of last month. So it is giving you the first date, the first timestamp, the date timestamp from the beginning of last month, which is May, right? So this way you can go ahead and explore all of the methods available in business rule in the GS class or any other class. Try to put all those things here and see what output it brings to you. You may have to do certain calculation within business rule. For example, the data that you are inserting into a table, or the data that you are getting from some third-party system, based on that you can do some calculation, right? So you will have those methods, common methods available here that you can use, right? Like you have the date functions, you have time functions, you have different other functions available that you can see here. If you have to get the role of the user or the user ID, username, etc. in the runtime, you can see. I can go ahead and print current user name equals, and then you have to concatenate it, right? See, there is a formatting button also available here. You can go ahead and use this formatting. It will format the code that you have printed here. See, it automatically formatted the code. So if I have anything which is not formatted,
where is that one?
this one, format code, the third one.
Oh, okay.
When I do this, it formats the code for you. This one is for syntactical checks, right? This is to find and replace. This is to search within your own code. When you do find, you can do find next. You can pop this out in full screen window. You can get a help. You can save it. Okay. See, this message that we have printed here will show me the display name of the current user, right? Let's go back to the attendees form. When you submit it, it says current username is equal to system administrator, right? So what we have achieved here is we are getting the name of the user dynamically. We are getting the last month's date dynamically. We are putting some error messages using the methods available in GS class, right? And then using this business rule and the GlideRecord, we also inserted data into the marketing event table while we were inserting data into the attending table, right? Make sense? Clear?
The question.
Sure.
So stay there, please. Stay where you are. where you have dr get current dot marketing event is the no stay there. Yeah, there.
So the current is the record from the attendee table. Since you are onto the attendee form, whatever marketing
Oh,
value that you pick from here, this is the current record, right?
okay,
The,
okay.
the moment you use this current object, you are going to refer records from this table, the table that you identified here.
Okay, okay.
So you are picking that marketing event value from this one. If it is not New
Mm-hmm,
Delhi, if you pick some other values, so that
mm-hmm,
so the record will be updated for that table, right? So you are doing a get function.
mm-hmm.
So using that get function, you are getting the appropriate record. So you are going to update just one record into the table. If you see in the marketing events table, you are not updating any other records. Like in this table, only we are updating only this record for New Delhi. Rest of the records are not getting
Mm-hmm.
updated. See, Hyderabad
Yeah.
Road Show, number of attendees registered remains 25. If I go ahead and add one more attendee, let's say AA at example.com, and I pick New Delhi again, so it will change to 36, but Hyderabad Road Show, the number of attendees will remain the same. Let's go ahead. See, it became 36, but it remained 25, right? And
Mm.
that's because
Oh,
you picked New Delhi as an option there. Let's go ahead and now pick Hyderabad. Or not New Delhi, I'll pick Hyderabad. Remember, Hyderabad has 25 attendees. Value,
mm-hmm.
right? And New Delhi has 36. So I'll submit it, I'll go to marketing events, and now this time I'll see it became 26, but New Delhi remained 36, right? So this gr.get you are doing, you are using the marketing event name from the current form on the attendees form, right? Current is this one, the table that you have here, right? From the current form, you are picking up the name of the marketing event. And for that marketing event, you are going to create a record for increment the value into the marketing events table, which is this one.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So that brings us to the end of business rules today. I'll send this script to you so you can practice and you can change the script accordingly. Create your attendee table and write the script and see the effect of it.